Cindy Robar. I first developed an interest in Scientology about 15 years ago. I had a client at the time, and she was telling me she had started the Purification Rundown and was going to our local sportsplex to use the sauna. She told me about the time she had to spend in the sauna and the vitamins, which I thought was crazy. She was doing the rundown with another person and explained that while they were doing the rundown, they came out of the sauna and there were strange markings on his back. It was determined that he had taken either antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication, and this is what these markings were. Is this something that happens? Have you ever heard of this happening before? Also, because he was no longer able to continue in Scientology, she also had to stop the rundown until they found another partner for her. Would she have to pay for the course again? All right, Cindy, thank you for these questions. First off, no, the Purification Rundown is toxic, not detoxifying, and it does not work because it's based on bad, faulty science. L. Ron Hubbard claimed that, LSD, alcohol, any drugs you've ever taken, any chemicals you've ever really been involved with have residue of those materials is lodged in the fatty tissues of your body. He got this idea from a coroner, I believe, or a mortician out in Portugal years and years ago in the early 70s. And he thought about it and carried that idea forward and decided that he had hit on how to detoxify bodies by getting people to sweat out the toxins. Perhaps the most inefficient way that we have of detoxifying a body is sweat. If you talk to anybody in biomedicine or anybody who understands the biochemical nature of a body and how that kind of thing works, then they will tell you in no uncertain terms that L. Ron Hubbard is absolutely full of shit. I mean, 100%, okay? I'm not making this up. This is actually, I've listened to doctors lecture about this, and that is the fact of the matter. Yes, some materials do lodge in the fatty tissues, okay? But LSD isn't one of them. Water-soluble materials like LSD don't lodge in your fatty tissues. That's not why flashbacks happen. That's not why a whole load of things happen with LSD. We don't know why it is that LSD flashbacks happen, but we don't have to make up answers for that by imagining that it's because LSD lodges in the fatty tissues, because we know for a fact it doesn't. THC does over time, right? And so cannabis, for example, can have that kind of effect. And you could see it coming out when you are getting rid of fatty tissues in your body or through diet or something like that. But generally speaking, if you just stop smoking dope or eating edibles, your body flushes it out through a normal course of events, through cell replacement and that kind of thing, as well as the normal, systems of the body. So the inner workings of the body are what work best to detoxify the body. It's built to do it already. We don't need an external program from L. Ron Hubbard to do that. So I just thought I'd go on a little bit of a roll about the purification program and the ridiculousness of it in order to answer this question, because it is absolutely ridiculous that any antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds came out, and much less came out through some strange patterns on the skin. I mean, the first thing I thought when I read that was maybe it was the creases that make, the impressions in your skin from sitting on a wooden bench. Maybe it was the knots in the wood, because mostly inside saunas they have wood benches. I mean, that's a more likely reason for why there were strange markings on his skin than the fact that he was sweating out antidepressants. That's just nonsense. And as far as having to pay for the course again, maybe, it depends on how long it took between starting and stopping and who was involved. It's completely arbitrary. Some organizations and missions would allow the person to continue doing the program with a new twin, a new person. And other people would say, oh, yeah, it's been 6 months. I think you should pay for it again. And they would have to shell out, $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, however much they're charging for that nonsense now. So there you go.